The first video game I ever played, far out, that's taking me back. You know what, I think it's going to be really embarrassing to reveal the fact that I'm a little baby and say it was Warcraft 2, I think. But I'm not entirely sure. No, it can't be. Fury 3. It was like that ancient Microsoft thing where you flew around. Yeah, I think that's what it was. I think. Don't quote me. On camera. My all-time favorite game, oh man. I think if I didn't say Natural Selection, I would get fired. No, but honestly, I think the original Natural Selection definitely stands up as being my favorite game, and that's why, yeah, I think so. What made me decide to work on video games was just the fact that with a video game, you can create an experience for people that goes above and beyond most other art forms. I mean, a video game combines, what's the line in Indie Game the Movie? It combines all the sum total of all existing art into one big ball, and that's exactly what video games can do. And you can create experience for people that can give them just amazing insights into all sorts of things. Mate, until 4 months ago, I was an accountant.
How did you get involved with the studio?
I started to make YouTube videos each night after work back home in Sydney, and eventually decided that it was actually a pretty fun thing to do, and they asked me to come over to San Francisco. Unknown Worlds Entertainment is the name. I'm not sure what the story behind the name was. I'm probably the wrong person to ask, but I think the idea behind the name is that we want to create games that take people to places they've never been before, and so that's the idea behind Unknown Worlds. First ever game. Again, because I wasn't actually in video games until 4 months ago, I couldn't give you one. But what I can give you is the history of the guy who actually founded this studio, and that's Charlie Flair of Cleveland. He made this studio after creating the original Natural Selection on his own way back in the year 2002. So it was released in Halloween 2002, 10 years ago. And that was the first game I believe he ever created on his own, apart from little projects. And so he worked as a game developer in a more traditional studio while doing that part-time and then just doing it full-time. So we have 8 people in our San Francisco office, and we have a lot of people scattered all over the world as well. In fact, our entire mapping team is here in the UK. So I could rattle off names, but we've got one guy who made our entire graphics engine. So the engine you've seen in gameplay here today, that was written by one guy. His name is Max Maguire, and we have a whole bunch of just awesome people. Our lead programmer is just fantastic, Brian Cronin, and the art director Corey Strader, and the list goes on of just people that on their own contribute so much, and coming together have managed to create an awesome team and create what we hope is a game that you wouldn't expect to see out of such a tiny team of people. The last indie game that I played, far out, there's a lot of them. I don't know, I guess before I got here, what was I playing? DayZ. I don't think that qualifies as indie, I guess, because of Armour, but I don't know. To tell you the truth, looking around this room right now in Res, there's just so many indie games I want to play, and I couldn't give you a specific one that would stand out in my mind because there's just so many, or it's doing different awesome things, taking games beyond just the simple first-person shooter and doing crazy stuff. It's a combination, and it's also difficult because the definition can get very blurry. For example, if a company receives a bit of funding but still stays creatively independent, are they still indie? Or if a game, I don't know, if a studio is taken over but is still creatively independent, are they still indie? So it's definitely difficult because people look at you in a different way and they go, well, you must make little tiny games that are very small, maybe graphically aren't quite up there, and you expect to be on, say, Xbox Live Arcade or something instead of being, a standalone PC game. So it can be a curse, but at the same time, it is also a blessing in what it actually is, which is you're a studio that has complete creative freedom to do whatever the hell you want and create something that's totally different and out there. So it is definitely a combination of things. Hi, my name's Hugh, and I'm indie. You're a studio that has complete creative freedom to do whatever the hell you want and create something that's totally different and out there. So it is definitely a combination of things.